just tonight. I don't care what I will buy, cause I know we getting high. Put your hands up in the sky, in the sky. Hey, yeah, you got me dancing a lingo. The way that you move in your window. Dancing a lingo. Dancing a lingo. Yeah, you got me dancing a lingo. The way that you move in your window. Dancing a lingo. Dancing a lingo. A lingo. A lingo. The way that you move in your window. Move in your window. Move in your window. A lingo. A lingo. The way that you move in your window. Move in your window. Move in your window. Peace, where we back again.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Alrighty, so time right now, SVG, it is 8:51, and our fourth co-host is here with us this morning. Doc is in studio. Doc, just to note that Nicole is with us this morning. Okay. She's on the live, so that's why I say fourth co-host.
Yes, that's all right.
All right.
Good morning, Nicole. Good morning.
Good morning, Doc. How long?
I haven't been hearing a lot. I haven't been able to listen to hear your commentary on what's happening in Trinidad and so forth. And I suppose a lot of people are waiting to see the outcome of the military games and so that are taking place down there.
Military games.
But I tell you, sorry, I'm a little late this morning. I was at the launch of the manifesto last night. And, I'm a little want for wear this morning. But I'll tell you something. Vote ULP.com and you'll see your copy of the manifesto. I'm sure you all have done that already, and anyone else could really look at it. But what it really shows is that the plans that a party has, some summarized in 107 pages. That's a lot of pages. It does use pictures quite elaborately. It does try to highlight certain features. But what it does, it looks at policy. It looks at what the ULP has done in the past and what it plans to do in the future in great detail so that it can be judged. Some would say it might be too many details. You just want the bold things that are there. And some will say that. Mm-hmm. But if you really want an idea about what's happening, this basically follows on a pattern of previous years, but it's now even more, maybe even double the number of pages. And it reflects on what the ULP has done in the past because it has been there for some time. But in terms of what it plans for the future is even much more grander. And the NDP, though, has come up with some short-term things. It's talked about slashing prices, and cutting VAT by 3%. But And so if you want to interrupt me,
I'll allow you. Go right ahead. Doc.
If you want to interrupt
me,
your
commentary. Go right ahead.
If you want to laugh and interrupt me and so forth, I don't mind. You know what I mean? But that 20% drop in revenue and the salaries of 35 million has been spent each year. You know, doubling poor relief from 250 to 500. We already knew that it's already $300 in most cases, LIS 314. But it's the issue of a bonus payment. You know, a lot of people say, boy, we can get an extra salary at the end of the month. That's the thing. A bonus payment doesn't, if you give somebody an extra $10, the bonus payment. You give somebody $100, the bonus payment. And I'm not sure why some persons may have expected will be an extra salary. But that's already done. There's a bonus payment already announced from the independence process, which was forecasted months ago. And student loans.
You mean the 3%?
Over 3 months. Student loans reduced from 8% to 4.5%. Already done 2 years ago. But other ideas like fixed yacht hall marina have been seen coming out. And the 4 pillars like tourism, the blue economy and the orange economy. But with the case of tourism, you're gonna go into tourism as a pillar, but you're going to block beaches. You're going to probably switch from Taiwan to China, which unfortunately means, because diplomacy-wise, the inability to make payments, you're not going to be able to then follow through on the loan for the Marriott Hotel, which is predominantly coming from a low interest rate loan from Taiwan along with grants. And this goes on and on. But some may consider the NDP quick policies they've put on a little business card as gimmicks, but that's their way of promoting it. That's fine. But it's important in these few minutes that I have that persons go to voteulp.com, pull down your own copy of the manifesto. It's not a quick look. It's something that each day you study. And the plan that for a new government, that each senior public servant will get a copy so that they would know what the policies are. I remember some weeks ago, someone had suggested, but the civil servants will continue what? No. Civil servants, while they carry out the activities of the government, it's the policy that they basically carry out, and having a better idea, irrespective of who they support, of what those policies are, helps in that whole process of governance. So I want to thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I did this in 9 minutes. And
you did it in less.
No, well, listen.
Think you set a record this morning?
No.
No, wait, I want to engage you.
No. I was going to go into some detail into the manifesto. Time does not allow. But what I hear your laughter. I wouldn't call it sniggering. I hear your laughter. And to some people, it may come across that you have some questions. And so rather than going into the full details of the manifesto, I'm allowing for you to ask a question.
All right.
Because I don't want them to interpret your laughter as in the wrong way.
How could it be interpreted?
No, I don't want them to interpret your laughter.
I'm always chuckling. I'm always chuckling.
No, so therefore, I'm allowing you to ask the question.
All right. So why is it that when a reference is made to what the NDP has proposed, these short-term things, and you made mention of the salary increase. You made mention of the salary increase, the bonus.
Yeah.
Both parties have proposed short-term things or one-off things that are going to be of benefit to citizens, right?
Yeah.
The ULP has the barrel concession. The NDP is considering, has stated the concession on vehicles of 50% for public servants over the 10-year mark. So both have proposed something with regards to concessions, right? Increases in salary or the bonuses. So ULP is given 3% over the 3 months. NDP has proposed something extra, a bonus. We don't know what it is or how it's going to take on that form, but both parties are proposing something in that regard in terms of extra money for persons. There's also the matter of public assistance. So the ULP has said that they're going to increase it. NDP has said that they're going to double it. So both parties have put forward short-term things, but both parties are also putting forward long-term measures. So why is it that we mark down what it is that the NDP has proposed when both sides have proposed things on a short-term basis that can be of immediate benefit to their citizens while we wait for the long-term measures to take full effect?
Yes, absolutely. I'm agree with you. I'm totally agree with you. As a matter of fact, we all know every independence, the prime minister often goes into some short-term benefits. The issue with barrels and so forth is an announcement that's made every single year. So it's not considered a short-term measure. It's not considered a new short-term measure.
But you know what I mean, in the immediate.
I'm saying in the immediate.
Right.
Well, what I was pointing out to you is in terms of the analysis of it. I've spoken about it before. If you're going to reduce student loans from 8.5% to 4.5%, if it was done already 2 years ago, then it's been pointed out that you have added that to one of your 4 or 5 things. If you are going to increase, let's say, poor relief from 250 to double it from 250, you should have known that it has been at 300 in one sense in terms of the government and at $314 for persons coming from the NIS. You would have also known that in terms of increasing NIS, it's something that the NIS has to do. And in this case, in terms of balancing it, right, what the Prime Minister was always going to announce, what he had forecasted he was going to announce last year, in terms of further increase this year, that he has to give money to the NIS from the government to add on until they are able to have their review and increase their minimum assistance and so forth in terms of elderly people who have not made a contribution, a non-contributory pension. They haven't contributed like you when you were a teacher or so forth and things like that. And so I was pointing out a number of these things, these short-term things that are put on a card. If you lose 50% of them, it comes over. But I'm saying whether some people consider them as gimmicks or some people consider them as promotion of what you're doing, just like what you're saying. You would consider it as being promotion, fine. I'm saying that other persons would consider these as being gimmicks for those particular reasons. You know what I mean? And the bonus has been given, you understand, but I'm saying when somebody says I'm going to give you a bonus, it may seem as if they're going to give you an extra salary. I remember in 2001.
You don't think that extra salary thing probably came from what persons see happening in other countries, but they didn't say that. So is it a case of persons ran with an assumption?
Can I say something? You said they didn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
I am putting it to you. You're right. They didn't say that. But I know that that's why I brought it up. The interpretation was that it's going to be an extra salary. But I'm pointing out the play on words. We're going to give you a bonus. And I'm pointing out to you, a bonus can be an extra $1, an extra 10,
or an extra 3%,
an extra 3%. It could be an extra 3% for the last 3 months, which is really 9%. You know what I mean?
So they could come back and say they're going to give a 5 or 10% for the next 4 months.
They're going to say,
so bonus is a bonus.
A bonus is a bonus. That's the point I'm making. But I'm saying that way back in July, the Prime Minister had indicated he was going to give it. So they have to come with something. But I'm saying those particular, whether you say these things are gimmicks or the Prime Minister consistent with what happens at independence and so forth that he's going to do, he always comes with these things. And he always comes with the monies and so forth that's going to be done in terms of helping recovery and so forth. In other words, if you consider what the PM says, every independence as being gimmicks, right, or bonus, or the barrel thing that's been happening for the last 20 plus years as being a gimmick, you know what I mean? It is consistent with a policy. Now, I wanted to emphasize the manifesto. I haven't gone into details. I thought your question, when you were laughing, you were really laughing. I'm sure you would have discussed that before. But, I wanted to make sure that your laugh wasn't coming through in the wrong way. And that's why I paused to allow you to ask,
No, it's not in relation to the manifesto. I expect.
No, I know you always. I just remember the truth. You always laughing and so forth.
Yeah, I was chuckling at something, and you know when it. And you know something. And you know when it comes to our interaction.
I just chuckle sometimes, and you know I try to suppress it because I know from a human point of view and a psychological point of view, it comes. But I tell you, I'm allowed my chuckle to come true. I will allow my chuckle to come true sometimes.
Yeah, but Doc, you know when it comes to you and my engagement with you on certain topics, that I'm not necessarily going to be in agreement. So if I chuckle at that point,
you are in agreement with most of my topics. You're in agreement. You and I think very much alike.
We do.
Sometimes it comes out to think we don't think alike, but you and I think very much alike. You know
we think alike, but maybe we don't agree on things.
I love the music you play in terms of I love the music. I could see that you and our music tastes are similar. You understand? You know, and a number of other things I hear and so forth. You and I are actually quite similar and more similar than you think. People look in terms of the difference, right? People look in terms of the difference. I mean, it's true. You know, you are a little small frame, and I am a little more average, medium frame and so forth.
Me, where you going with this?
You know? No, but these are differences.
Mm-hmm.
These are differences. But in terms of other things, I think the similarities are greater than the differences.
Oh, you mean like how you don't back down, so I don't back down either?
No, man, let me tell you something. Boy, I tell you something. I'm a back down.
Oh, Lord, you are?
I'm a person who backs down.
Nah.
But listen, if as a medical doctor, I could see there's certain diseases we call pathognomonic. When you could just watch people, and there's certain features that come out that are manifest of a particular disease. We call it, these signs are pathognomonic of a specific disease, right? I'm usually note that word, pathognomonic, and it's usually pathological and an indication. The point I'm making is that I see a lot of these things, and I could talk to somebody and say, listen, do you know, if I ever get in a conversation, you know, you should go and check this out. This may be the case or so or whatever. Or even if they came to me as a patient, I could say, I think you may have this. That patient may leave and say, they may chuckle. What the hell he thinks is, I know I have this, or I think somebody do me, or this and the other. And they've gone and done something else. This happens. So that people are not necessarily going to believe some of what you say. Now, at the other times, I would admit I've been wrong. I can be very wrong. And so you could be right, but I accept that. But there are going to be times in which persons are going to differ with me, whether it's from a medical or from a psychological point of view or from whatever else, you know, and they will have their difference of opinion. Time will tell, you know.
Indeed, time will tell.
So,
and it's time for us to head on to this segment. All right.
Nice.
It is 9:08. So if anybody has anything to raise in terms of what Doc said or from before, we take it up around 9:25. Okay. So time it is 9:08.